Hey guys, it's Daniel from StudyGround. Today, we're doing a deep dive into listen and repeat. This task is hard for almost everybody. A lot of students panic, miss part of the sentence, and then the whole response falls apart. Even when I first tried it, I panicked and missed a 6. And that is strange because English is my first language. I also regularly scored a 30 in speaking on the old TOEFL. So if this task can trip me up, you can imagine what it does to students who are still building their English. Here's what we're going to cover today. Number 1, why this task feels harder than it used to. Number 2, how to use this scenario before the audio even starts. Number 3, why the dip in the middle is normal and how to manage it. Number 4, how to scale your strategy depending on sentence length. Number 5, what kind of practice actually builds this skill? Number 6, 2 mistakes that kill your score. After taking the new TOEFL 6 times since January and watching my students jump from around a 4 or 4.5 to a 6 out of 6, what have I learned? It gets better with practice, not just any practice. Let's get into it. Number 1, it's not just tour guide English anymore. Listen and repeat is not just simple location directions anymore. A lot of students imagine this task as basic tour guide English. Go down the hall, turn left. The visitor center is on the right. And yes, sometimes you still get that. But now, the task can feel more unfamiliar and more functional. You might hear instructions for a travel agency. You might hear something about the functions of an email platform. You might hear a sewing class or some other setting students are not used to hearing in English, and that matters. A lot of students do not struggle because the grammar is impossible. They struggle because the setting feels weird, the vocabulary feels unfamiliar, and then their brain starts to panic. If it is a sewing class, maybe you hear words like needles, thread, finger stall, seam, or fabric. If it is an email platform, maybe you hear forward, CC, features, notifications, or account functions. So the first thing to understand is this. Sometimes the task feels hard, not because the English is insanely difficult, but because the context is unfamiliar. Sometimes it is just a strange setting. That is all. Number 2, use the scenario. Do not waste the intro. A lot of students look at the picture, hear the setup, and do nothing with it. That is a mistake. Before the first sentence starts, prepare mentally. Anticipate. Ask yourself what the setting is. What kind of words might come up? What kind of instructions or functions might I hear? If it is a travel agency, maybe you expect reservations, schedules, payment, or customer service. If it is a sewing class, maybe you expect seam, patches, or thread. If it is an email platform, maybe you expect settings, features, or notifications. The intro gives you the category before the audio even plays. That helps your brain get ready. So do not just sit there passively. Use the scenario. That alone can make a big difference. Number 3, expect the difficulty dip. This task has a built-in difficulty curve. The first few questions are shorter and easier. Then, around question 4 or 5, most students hit a mental dip. Then the last ones get longer and more memory heavy. Here's what I see with my students almost every time. On the first 3 questions, they get a 5 out of 5. No problem. Then question 4 and 5 come, and the score drops, usually a 3 or 3.5 out of 5. Then they pick back up on questions 6 and 7, somewhere around a 4 or 4.5. So that dip in the middle is very real. It is not just in your head. And the good thing is this. With more practice, that dip gets smaller and smaller. Those same students start hitting more 5s across the board. And even at the lowest point, the dip is only a 4 or 4.5. So expect the dip, but know that it shrinks the more you train. Don't act surprised by it. If you know it is coming, you are much less likely to panic when it hits. Number 4, scale your energy. Not all questions should be treated the same way. That is one of the biggest mistakes students make. Let me show you what I mean. Imagine we're at a bowling alley. Shorter questions. Question 1 might be something like, have you been to a bowling alley before? Question 2 might be, the shoe rental counter is just behind you. For the shorter ones, your job is usually just to memorize and repeat. Do not overcomplicate it. Listen carefully, hold the sentence, and say it back clearly. Too many notes here can actually slow you down. Middle questions. Now the middle ones get a little longer. Something like, customers can reserve lanes at the front desk or at the kiosk. Or, you should remind customers to stay behind the foul line when bowling. This is where a lot of students start losing control. Here, it can help to repeat internally and write 1 or 2 anchor words. Nothing crazy. Maybe first letters, maybe 1 short word from the beginning and 1 from the middle. Just enough to help you hold the structure together. Longer questions. Then the long ones come. Something like, also, food and drinks from the snack bar are not allowed near the lanes. Or, if the scoring screen is not working properly, please reset it using the control panel nearby. For these, memory load becomes the real issue. So you repeat internally and write a quick skeleton. Subject, main action, key detail. The goal is not to write the whole sentence. The goal is to keep the sentence alive long enough to say it back. So the big point is this. Short questions are mostly memory. Middle questions are memory plus a word or two. Long questions are memory plus chunks. They should not all be handled the same way. Number 5. Not all practice is equal. This connects directly to strategy. A lot of students think practice is practice. It is not. This task tests multiple skills at the same time. You have to hear the sentence clearly, process it quickly, hold it in your memory, and then say it back with control. Here's the biggest problem I see. Students either do basic drills, which is like a baby crawling, or they jump straight into full test sets, which is trying to run a marathon on day 1. If you only crawl, you'll never pass. If you try to run the marathon immediately, you will panic and pull a muscle. You need the middle steps. That is why on StudyGround.ai we built a progression to take you from crawling to running. See and repeat gives you an easier entry point without the heavy memory load. Sentence discrimination trains your ear to catch small differences. Gap dictation helps you notice exactly what your brain is dropping. Word ordering helps you lock in sentence structure. Listen and repeat brings all of that together like the real test. The point is not just to practice more. The point is to practice in a way that actually builds the skill. Whether you are crawling, running the marathon, or somewhere in between, StudyGround.ai takes you there. Number 6. 2 mistakes that kill your score. The first one, don't let pronunciation cripple you. Let's talk about pronunciation. It matters. I'm not saying it doesn't. If you say grammar, but you meant grandma, we have a problem. But do not let pronunciation cripple you. A lot of students get so obsessed with sounding perfect that they freeze and lose the rest of the sentence. This task is not about sounding beautiful. It is about being clear enough and accurate enough. So yes, be understandable, but do not let one pronunciation issue derail the whole response. Alright, the second mistake that can kill your score. Do not collapse if you miss a word. A lot of students stumble once, panic, and mentally shut down. That is exactly what you cannot do here. You are not going to repeat every sentence perfectly. Sometimes a word just vanishes. Sometimes the setting is unfamiliar. Sometimes the sentence is awkward. When that happens, hold on to the structure. Hold on to the meaning. If you cannot remember the exact word, try to keep the sentence moving with nearby meaning instead of freezing. Exact repetition is the goal, but if one word disappears, do not let the whole response die because of it. This task is a game of percentages. Get as many words as you can. Keep moving, finish strong. A controlled, imperfect answer is always better than a total collapse. Let's recap what we just learned. Use a scenario to prepare mentally. Expect the dip in the middle and know that it shrinks with practice. Scale your strategy depending on sentence length. Practice in a way that actually builds the skill. And if exact recall fails, do not panic. Keep the sentence alive and get as much as you can. If you can do those things, you will put yourself in a much better position on listen and repeat. All right, that's it for today. If this helped, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And if you want to actually train this task the right way, come check us out at StudyGround.ai. That's where my students are putting in the real work. Thanks guys. See you in the next video.